What's up, boxers? I'm excited today. We have Sarah Williams. Sarah and I connected, and she's a professional certified identity coach that works with professional and college athletes, kind of helping them with their transition to their next step and next phase of life. So she's going to be asking some questions. So if you guys are able to, please turn on your cameras so we can see you and interact. Yeah, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully a few more guys are able to join on camera here, or at least be able to participate with their voices. But Sarah, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thanks. Welcome.
All right, thanks so much for that introduction. Hey guys, I don't know what you guys look like, so if anybody can turn on their cameras, I'd love to see your faces. Thank you, Parker. Awesome. James, Mario, thanks so much. So great to see you guys. But you guys, those who don't have their cameras on, can you guys blink your mics just to let me know you're actually listening and available to participate in this conversation? Thanks, Zachary. Hey, Max, what's up? All right, Antone, great. Thank you guys. I appreciate this. All right, so today, you guys are going to be part of this presentation if you didn't know it or not. So I like to be interactive. I like to get you guys moving and grooving. So right now we're gonna go around and sing our best karaoke song. Okay, ready? Mario, go for it.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm just joking.
You don't have they have karaoke nowadays, Mario. Don't act like you've never heard of karaoke. Don't stop believing, living on a prayer.
Okay.
Come on now, Mario.
All right, that was a joke. Hope you guys liked it. Anyway, so you guys, what I do is I am an athletic identity coach, like Coach Miner said. And what that means is that I like to help people learn that they are more than the sport they play. So I'm going to go down to, let's do Parker. You're pretty engaged here. Tell me, if I were to ask you, Parker, who are you? Who is Parker? You got to unmute.
I would say probably hard worker, leader, just kind of more so characteristics about myself.
Hard worker and a leader. Anything else? That's it? All right. How about Max? What about you? Who's Max?
I'd say caring, put others first.
Okay. Anything else? Nope. All right. James, how about you?
I'd also say hardworking. I care a lot about my family and about others. Yep.
All right. All right. Who else we got? Zachary, how about you?
I would say it's funny. I was going to combine those two. I originally was going to say a kid with a hard work ethic who cares a lot about their friends and family. So like just to make sure what everyone's kind of said already.
All right. You guys are, oh man, you guys seem like a great group of guys. I'm happy I met you. Zachary. I'm going to say the same. All right. We got Mario. Back up to you.
I'd say empathetic, passionate, I'd say.
Passionate. I like that. Nobody said that one. Okay. Thank you so much for you guys. Ethan Henry. All right. Matthew Peterson. No. Oh, wait. Oh, you're coach. Coach, who are you? Tell me.
Well, I'm still in athletics then, so
never really left it.
That's all right. Tell me who you
Ah.
are.
Who I am.
Yeah.
I am a perseverant, um, driven, passionate person who strives for excellence in everything I do. And what I learned is that I'm also a philomath.
You're
which I
up for
learned-
what?
A philomath. Somebody told me that not that long ago in Oregon when I was talking to them, and they said, "Oh, there's a town in Oregon called Philomath," and I was like, "Yeah."
Oh,
They said, "Well, that's
Philomath.
what you are." Yeah, I don't know how it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Okay. Ethan Moss, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Let's hear it. Who are you?
I guess I would say I'm a really motivated person. I really care for my friends and my family. But I also really care about my goals as well.
Okay. Awesome. Walter or Walker. I'm sorry. Walker. Walker sounds better than Walter.
Yeah, I would say I definitely go with the hardworking thing. I know a lot of people have said that, but I guess at the same time, I would say I'm pretty independent. I like working with a team, but I also like having my own time and my own space.
Hard worker. All right, let's see. Anton.
Yeah, I would say I'm a leader, an athlete, driven, dedicated, and yeah, a family man.
Okay. Chris, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Who is Chris?
I would say pretty easygoing. A phrase I would use is like go with the flow. But I would also use words like other people use, like hardworking and passionate. So I thought those were good words.
Okay. Got a lot of hard workers on this team, guys. This is great. Caden.
I would say I'm a student and an athlete, pretty driven and focused on my goals.
Okay. Noah.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still trying to figure out like who I am every day. But I would say like I'm pretty similar to what other guys have said, but I think I'm like tenacious. So I don't necessarily I just go after things and continue to keep hammering away all the time. So yeah.
Good answer, Noah. I appreciate your honesty there. That's perfect. Let's see. I have Jalen. Did I go to Jalen yet? Or how do I say that? J. Ellen?
No, it's just Jalen.
Jalen. Okay.
I'll say I'm a pretty all around guy. I could be laid back, or I could be very energetic, depending on the day. I'm very competitive and passionate about things I do. I try to put my 100% in everything I do. Yeah, I'm a funny guy. I could take a lot of jokes. So yeah.
All right. Always like to have the jokester on here. All right, we're going to go back to Coach Miner. Coach Miner, how would you answer this question? Who is Brant Miner?
I would say I'm a passionate coach, father, mentor, leader, son, friend, husband, and someone who seeks to have a zest for life.
I can feel that zest right now. So, okay, you guys, what we did here is just an exercise based on, I wanted to see what your guys' answers would be. And you guys gave me a lot of great answers of characteristics, right? Characteristics of a person that you see yourself as being. So what Coach Miner did, I just want to give you an example is, you know, he said, I am a coach, a leader, a son, a dad, right? So all these things are pieces of way how he's going to identify himself with. So when I have, let's see, who said here? Caden, he's a student and an athlete, right? That's how he's identifying himself. You guys who are a leader, Anton said a leader and an athlete. Those are excellent. When we say we're caring, compassionate, and hardworking, those are characteristics of our identity. Does that make sense to you guys? So are you a hardworking student, hardworking athlete, hardworking, and I know a lot of you said caring and compassionate when it comes to friends, family, etc. And those are all really great characteristics, right? So what we want to do when we're identifying with who we are, I am so glad that you guys didn't all say I'm a basketball player and that was it. That's what we were going for. So I don't know if you guys were prepped, but I feel like you guys are all very well rounded, and that was excellent answers. So great job on that. If anybody wants to add any more feedback to that, can you blink your mic for me? Anybody have something that they want to change their answer? Nope. All good? All right. So let me give you a little bit of background now that we did that exercise and got everybody kind of warmed up. So the reason why I became an athletic identity coach is because of some challenges that I went through. Has anybody here gone through injuries? Blink your mic if you have. Zachary, Parker, Brant, Ethan Moss. I can't see if Jalen. Okay. So you guys, so what happens is when we go through what do you call it? An injury is sometimes I want to go back and figure out what that feeling is that you had when you had that injury. So if you can go back and think about that, how did that feel to you? Parker, give me an example of how an injury made you feel about yourself.
Well, this happened pretty early in my college career. It was my freshman year or sophomore year. I can't really remember, but I broke my foot and essentially had to have surgery and had to get a pin put in one of my ankles. And, up until then, I just saw myself as a basketball player. And then as soon as it was kind of taken away from me, I was like, all right, well, what am I then? Without the sport. So you definitely have those type of feelings when you get injured, especially when you're out for long periods of time.
Right. That's exactly kind of what I'm going for here. Anybody else have a story that they want to share about an injury and how they felt when that happened? No? Okay, so I'm going to share my story with you guys and see if you can relate. So what happened, I am a competitive triathlete, and I also am a competitive equestrian. I've played softball, volleyball, all that stuff in college and high school. And so what happens is when you pour all your heart and soul into the sport you play, right? We all have a dream. And, how many people, does anybody in here have a dream of going professional? Nobody? Okay. So what happens is when you're trying to be the best you can be, right? And I'm not saying that in college you shouldn't be the best you can be, because that is absolutely what's happening anyways, right? You're being the best person you can be, you're being the best player. and the best student, right? So what happened to me is I ended up with several head injuries, and with those head injuries came basically where I wasn't able to play my sport whatsoever. So when that happened, my world stopped. I lost my home, I lost my sports, I lost my job, I lost my partner at the time. And so all of this ends up basically being a big failure or a weight on me at that time. So I didn't know who I was without the sport that I played, because it was such a buffer for me to use as a coping mechanism to deal with other things that I hadn't dealt with in my life, whether it was depression, self-worth, feeling like a low self-worth, self-esteem, etc. So I felt confident in playing sports because I knew I was good at it and I would get those accolades. But once you're injured, I don't know if anybody has felt like this. Once you're injured, your camaraderie around your community of other players is kind of gone. You're sitting at home trying to heal up, and then everybody else's lives continue on. So it's very lonely. It can get very lonely, which is why I stress the importance of learning who you are outside of sports. So that is basically going back to your values, right? Some of these that hardworking is a value, right? So if you guys identify yourself as being hardworking, you have a value system in place. So when I ask, let's see, who can I ask here that's a hard worker? How about James? James, when you say you're a hard worker, can you go into a little bit more depth with that with me and tell me what are other things that you do in your life besides play basketball where you are instilling this value of being a hard worker comes to play?
Well, I would say school, and then I don't know, just in general, like, I don't know, I'll go and work for my neighbor or whatever, and I'd still try to, go hard and chopping firewood, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. And then, so would you say that being a hard worker also helps you be a good human?
Yeah, I think so for sure.
Okay, excellent. And so how does being a hard worker help you in the playing basketball?
Well, I think it helps. I mean, you have to obviously at this level, you pretty much have to work hard if you want to play. Not only in games, but also just in practice. You have to push yourself. And yeah, I think that's where it's important to work hard.
Yeah, great. Good answers. Let's see. I'm gonna do, where's Mario? Mario, hey. So Mario, you, I like your word passionate. So passionate is like a feeling, right? To be passionate about something. So can you answer that same question in how you are passionate in other areas of your life, and what does passionate mean to you?
I would say, like, if I find something that I'm interested in or that like kind of sweeps me off my feet almost, and like I'm gonna like put my all into it and like be passionate about it, or just like relationships with like my family and whatnot, like just being passionate about and caring about my family. I don't know, just in terms of caring, like really caring about the things I care about almost.
Okay. Are you passionate about playing basketball?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I'll let my emotions get the best of me because I can be over passionate, I think. But yeah, I'd say so.
In what way do you mean by that? Like when you get your emotions beat the best of you, like basically are you expecting more out of yourself than is possible?
Maybe sometimes I'd say passion. I mean, it can maybe get shown in the way of just like being a hothead or just like punching a wall or something like that. Some dumb stuff.
Okay.
but just like really caring about stuff would be like my definition of passion for me.
Okay, that's fair. And then, so there is another way to identify with things is failure. Has anybody in this group ever failed before at anything? Missed a shot, failed at school, viewed something they've done as something they failed at? Anybody? Blink your mics. Noah, tell us about what you have failed at.
A lot of things. It's kind of hard to pinpoint one thing because I feel like you fail, like part of life is failing. So
What's your definition of failure, Noah?
That's a really good question. I guess maybe failure is like when you have some sort of outlook or outcome on a situation, then you want it to go a certain way, or like you want it to like put you in a position of success, and maybe it doesn't go that way, or maybe it's like completely different from what you thought, and you end up like not achieving what you set out to achieve. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Who else? Who has a failure that they'd like to share? I saw Antoine. Am I saying that right?
Antoine.
Antoine. Okay, thank you for correcting me. Did you have something that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I guess I can just add on. I can add on to what Noah was saying, how like I've failed at a lot of things and you can't really pinpoint one thing. But the way I would describe failure is not succeeding the first time at something, and being able to just come back from that failure and be resilient.
Okay, great. So how about Zachary?
Okay, I'm gonna talk more on the basketball side.
Okay, go for
I
it.
guess failure to me, I guess, would be the same type of thing, just basketball wise. Like, my team junior year went to the state tournament and we lost to a team in overtime, and then my senior year went to the state tournament and played the exact same team, exact same round, and ended up losing again. And it was just kind of like this sense of I let my coach down, and I felt like maybe I could have pushed myself harder in practice and pushed my teammates to like do more, and I didn't. And I think that really comes back to me too. And I always regret this. I talked to my high school coach a lot, like recently, and I always talk to him that I wish I would have worked harder my freshman and sophomore year of high school, because I think I definitely could be a little bit better player than I am today if I did that. So.
Okay. So that's a great, thank you for sharing that, Zachary. That's pretty open and vulnerable, and I really appreciate that. One thing I'm going to touch on with Zachary's story here is that the fact that he is viewing a failure as something he wish he would have done better, right? So here's the thing. The way that I define failure, and this might be helpful to some of you, is that failure is actually an opportunity, right? When we fail, we have the opportunity to try something new, something different, try something again. Failure is an opportunity to learn from what happened and do better or do different, right? So without failure, there is no success, right? So Zachary, is there a way you could look at this, maybe not as failure, but as a lesson? And what would that lesson be?
I guess I took it as I wasn't committed yet, and I was still looking to play at the college basketball level. And after losing that game, I kind of just the next night I got in the gym with my coach, and I just got up shots, and
eventually that summer, that's like when I started to lift. I really never lifted, like I said, my freshman or sophomore year, which kind of like set me back a little bit. But I just felt like the need to get better, I guess, is the main thing.
Okay, and then how have you used that lesson, right? It's not necessarily a failure. How have you used that lesson to move forward today with your training and who you are? How has that made you better?
I guess like what you said too, you can't like dwell in the past. And the lesson is, I guess, just keep working regardless of what happens. And like a big like quote that I always remember from my coach, just not even, I mean, he's just a saying. He always just says next play, like you can't let things get to you.
Mm-hmm.
And just regardless of what happens, you just got to keep being who you are and keep working.
Yeah.
I think that kind of answered your question a little bit. I was kind of confused, but
No,
I
I
think that
think
answered it a little bit.
I think you did a great job. Thank you. How about, let me see, Walker. You here?
Yep.
Yeah, Walker, tell us about a time where maybe you have looked at something as being a failure.
Oh man. I guess kind of similar thing to what Zach was saying is actually almost exactly the same. We made it to the state tournament in high school. We didn't end up losing like back to back like both years, but it's like one year we made it, we got third place in state, and then the next year we only ended up winning like 5 games or something. And going from seemingly a success to being a pretty crappy team, I would say that was probably a failure. Yeah.
What was your part in the failure? That sound like a team. That's a team.
Yeah, I guess that is more of a team failure, but kind of like what Zach was saying is feel like I could have worked harder to benefit the team better and like push my teammates more to make us better as a group.
Okay, so that's a lesson that you learned, is maybe you had more in you than what you actually gave. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, or yeah, maybe not realizing what like working hard actually was. Yeah.
And so how has that served you now in your life to learn that?
I definitely feel like I have more of a grasp on what I can do, like what working hard really is and how adversity feels, like being able to bounce back and work really hard through something, even if it might be tough. It's like I've experienced difficulty before, so I know I could get through it the next time.
All right, great. So you guys see what's happening here is that failure is what we think about, right? And the same thing is when we're talking about our identity and who we are, you can take a failure and think about yourself as being a failure or unworthy, or, you know, like you lost, the whole team lost because of you, or whatever it might be, right? But does that actually help you when you're trying to move forward in your life and accomplish more? And that is probably not the best answer. So how do we make failure work for us? That's what I want you guys to kind of take away from here, because we're going to face failures in life all the time. Probably, you know, the thing of it is when we're high achieving athletes like we are, you guys, we want to strive for perfection. And that could be in all areas of life. So just take away from this that you know, perfection is not possible, for one. Okay. Give your guys a little bit of grace. When you're on the court, you give your all, and that is the best you can do, right? The same thing when you are in the classroom, when you're being a son, when you are, you know, being a friend, is you give your 100%, and all you can is the best you can do. And your 100% is going to be different than someone else's 100%. So we can't compare, right? That's one of the worst things that we can do to ourselves, is compare ourselves with someone else, because we have not walked in their shoes. Okay. So when you're trying to connect with who you are as a person, you've got to look inside. You cannot look at somebody else. Does that make sense to you guys? Is there anything that anybody has a question about right yet? Like if you're having a question about how you identify, how do you find what you like, what you dislike, anything like that? Anybody have a question? Nobody? Nobody? I see Parker, you're up there. You like to, I think you got something to say. So how about, tell us about a failure that you've had, Parker.
I guess a big failure for me was probably like my first year. I went to junior college, and I wasn't getting like as much playing time as I wanted. And I didn't feel like I was at the role I should be, and I kind of looked at it as like a failure in a sense. But after coming and gaining like some humility, you kind of learn from like what you can control, and I kind of took with it like I could be better for the situation, where I can improve in other facets.
Yeah, you know, you guys, I hear that all the time, even with my professional athletes. That's such a great one to bring up is this is so interesting. Like I should be playing all the time, or my coach doesn't like me. I hear this stuff a lot. And so then what I do is ask if you guys find yourself in a situation like this at all, or over anything that you experience where you're thinking something about yourself, or you should be gaining more play time, or you should have got a on that test, or you know, you're going, my teacher doesn't like me, whatever it might be, right? I want you to ask yourself, is it true? Okay. Is it true? Because you know what happens is our brains are designed to protect us in all ways. So when you ask yourself, is it true? You're engaging that frontal lobe, right, of your brain. And your brain is designed to seek all the reasons why that statement that you're thinking that, you know, I should have played more, or my coach isn't helping, my coach doesn't like me, etc. Look around and ask yourself if that's true. Because the sooner you can do a mind shift and tell yourself, no, that's not true, and then your brain will seek the evidence that it needs to make you better. So you can learn from that and say, okay, well, that's not true. What am I doing to cause this situation, right? And that all ties back to the identity and the work ethic you have on and off the court. So that would be, if you're a hard worker, you're going to go and do that mindset shift, and you're going to ask yourself, what can I do better, right? So the biggest things that I try to teach my players is that you are more than the sport you play, meaning you are a dad, brother, son, friend, and the values that you have are hard worker, being compassionate, being caring, right? And so everything you do, I want you to be able to think about those values that you want to live your life by: hard worker, being compassionate, being fair, honest, whatever those values might be. How do you incorporate that into your life on the field and off the field? If you're not living to those values, then something's gone a little bit astray, and we need to go back and go, what are we thinking that's causing us to do that? Okay, and is it true? So the sooner you guys can do that, or you go by a feeling. Another thing you can do is go by a feeling in your body. If you feel like something's off, like, I don't know how some of you process anxiety, or you know how they say go with your gut, right? That's another thing of learning who you are, is by how your body operates. So if something feels a little off and you listen to that sign in your body, then I want you to go, what am I thinking, right? What am I thinking? If we always go back to the thought, it will create a feeling, okay? So if you're like, okay, you know, you're feeling a little nervous heading into the game, I want you to go, why? What am I thinking that's making me nervous? Okay. Could it be that, you know, I didn't sleep well last night, I didn't eat well, etc., but this is going to be a really crappy game, right? If you go into it with that mindset, I'm sure Coach Miner has told you all this stuff before. If you go into the game with that mindset, this is going to be a crappy game, or I'm not feeling well, then you know what your brain does? It seeks all the evidence to have you show up that way. That's what our brain's designed to do. So when we shift our thoughts into that frontal lobe and we align with our morals and values, you go, am I showing up as the hard worker, caring teammate that I am? Or am I letting my team and myself down by letting myself think that, you know, this is going to be a crappy game? So you guys can talk yourself in and out of things. Did you know that? Anybody? It's very powerful, this mindset thing. So, and then you got to go through fear. So if you have a fear of failure, we got to redefine the failure, right? What we talked about. If you got a fear of what's going to happen after college, then you want to move through that fear and go back to what you like and what you dislike. You can take with you all the things that you like from the sport that you're playing, and also learn what you didn't like from the sport you're playing. And let's piece that together and figure out what path you want to go down. How are you going to use that in your next chapter after college and after playing, right? You've learned a lot of skills as an athlete. Do you know how to use them in your life? So that's one thing that you would work on when you're trying to identify what you want to do after sports, right? Does anybody know what they're going to do yet? Mike's, anybody? Not yet? Well, it's never too early to start thinking about that, you guys. And also I want you to know too, at any point an injury can take you out of your sport. And that's why we have to do these things ahead of time, where we want to identify who you are without your sport so that you always have something to fall back on, okay? So that's why when I asked you guys to go a little deeper into what hardworking means, what compassionate means, what passion means to you, because only everybody has a different way of looking at things. So you have to ask what it means to you, not necessarily a definition, right? And how can you apply that in life with or without your basketball? So if I can leave you guys with a couple good points, is that failure is opportunity. Okay? Failure is an opportunity. You are more than the sport you play. And that your mind, you have the ability to be anything you want. That's what I want to tell you guys, because I know you probably hear that, and it's, you know, it's really true, because it's all in how our mind works. We can talk ourselves into something, we can talk ourselves out of something, all by what we're letting our mind do. One thing I like to say is, if your mind's going all over the place, like I like to take it back to an analogy that I have, like if you're not taking control over the thoughts you're having, it's like a toddler in a candy store, right? Who's just picking everything, everywhere, right? I want this. And so then that is when you're like scrambled and can't seem to think straight about something, that's what your brain's doing. So stop, take a minute, listen to your body, and ask yourself, are these thoughts true? Okay. That's the biggest thing. You got to be your own best advocate in this. So what I help people do is take control of their minds, for one, learn who they are, identify their strengths, weaknesses, and we go through and pick your top 5 values, and we align your life with your value. So not values, right? So you want to make sure you're living your life in according to your values that you've set for yourself that are intentional on the life that you want to live, right? Let's see. Anything else that anything you want to ask about? No? Nothing?
Well, that was awesome. I got a lot out of it. I got about not comparing yourself. That's one thing that I think a lot of people do sometimes, compare themselves to others. And I love the quote, comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, 100%.
And I know sometimes we look at somebody else or we want to try to be better than somebody else rather than just trying to be better than we were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
One of our core values is continuous improvement. One of our men's basketball core values, continuous improvement. Our second one, circle of control, program first, and Mamba mentality. So we have 4 core values, but continuous improvement is one that we do talk about a lot, is just trying to be a little better than we were yesterday, not comparing ourselves to others. I also, self-talk is important, redefining fear, transferable skills for these guys when they're looking at post basketball, taking what made them good basketball players and taking that into what's going to make them a success, whether that is hard work or passion or whatever it is that's made them a good basketball player. It's going to help them in their real life. Failure is an opportunity. You're more than your sport. And I like what you said about aligning your life with your values. So many people have values, but they're not living in accordance with those values. And so I think that's something that is really important that I took away, that just, if you want to be passionate, you got to show up with passion. If you want to be a hard worker, you can't take days off. And so when people say those things about, oh, well, I'm this, your actions have to back it up. You can't say I'm a hard worker and sleep until 10 and not work hard. I mean, that's just something that aligning your life with your values is another thing that I got from your talk, Sarah. So
yeah, it's so important. And then, striving for perfection is exhausting. So just know that perfection isn't possible. I mean, I know we know that, but when we're hard workers, we might try to strive for perfection. So just know it's not possible. You can only do as good as you can do every single day and try to be better than what you were yesterday, which I love that you said that, Brant.
Well, we really do appreciate you coming and talking to these guys, and definitely I'll see you in the clubhouse soon. Some of these guys I'm trying to get on Clubhouse. Mario is
yeah, you guys would do great.
Wouldn't that be good for some of the conversations that we're having on Clubhouse for these guys?
Yeah, you guys, I don't know if Coach Miner told you, but in my rooms, I have a lot of professional athletes that show up. I mean, today we had 2 Olympic athletes in our room. And they both, I personally invited into the room. So you guys have a great resource here with Coach Miner and myself. So, I just want to know if this kind of sits in and you guys are struggling a little bit, get my info from Coach Miner. And I'm happy to help you offline, one-on-one, if that's what you guys are interested in. But Clubhouse is a huge, huge asset. So you guys definitely should be taking up on that.
If you guys need to know what Clubhouse is, let me know. There's a lot of great rooms besides just Shoot Your Shot. I'm not saying that's the only room that Mario would be hanging out in, but there is other rooms on Clubhouse besides the Shoot Your Shot. With Mario, that passion.
Living with passion.
She knows it. Well, again, Sarah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I'll let the guys on mic and say thank you, and we'll be in touch, okay?
All right, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope I inspired you a bit.
We'll see you guys in a little bit, 45 minutes.
Oh,
Thank you.
get ready.
All right, guys.
All right, bye.
See ya, everybody. See ya, Noah. Later, Ethan.
I was wondering, I left. I left a direct message for you, but I would love to get your contact information.
For sure. Who
On
did you?
Instagram, Noah?
Huh?
On Instagram?
Instagram, email, text, whatever is like easiest form of communication.
How'd you just message her?
Oh, through
on-
Zoom.
On
Through
on
Zoom.
this Zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to put in your IG name or what's best there,
Sure.
Sarah?
You know, I should have probably. Oh, I should have put that in the. Yeah, here's the chat. Okay, I got it. Let's see. That is my email. If you want to send me